Babyliss, I think you guys actually did a lot of amazing things, and I'm looking forward to version 2 to see what happens. What's going on, everybody? Carlos here once again for Premier Cuts. Today we're talking about the 245 Babyliss Pro X. This guy right here. Listen, I purchased this with my own money. No one sent this out to me for review, and I just want to disclose that. So anything I say truly is my opinion and my thoughts on this guy. And I've been using it for more than several weeks. At this point, I want to say about a month and a half, 2 months. So this is a real review, a real user experience, not a day one, type of video that a lot of these guys are making. You can't call that a review. So when we're talking about this guy, I gotta be honest. There's a lot of amazing things, and I really like it. So if that's what you came here to find out, if I really like the machine, I think it's a fantastic machine. It works, it sounds good, it functions, but there is one major flaw, and I will talk to you about that soon. So stay tuned in this video to find out what that flaw is, in my opinion. So let's just talk about looks, ergonomics, the style, what you can compare this clipper to, the blade, everything that we're talking about spec-wise. So the look, I gotta say, it's a good looking machine. I understand what they were going for. They were going for this guy right here. It's very similar in design, and we're talking about the masters here. It's very similar in design and style. The weight is actually similar too. It's not 100% the same, but I would say it's not a heavy machine. It's not a light machine. It feels right in the hands for myself. They did a lot of good with the ergonomics when it comes to where you put your thumb, just places to have a better grip. As you see, you have the grip right there. That alone makes it more comfortable. The indentations, the little details that they spent on this thing. I love the fact that they implemented an LED indicator screen. So when this bad boy is on, you can see the indicator, you see your percentage of battery, and you have where your power is, and then your little 245 logo. The only thing that I would say about the dual buttons, as you see, is that it has a 2-speed motor. I honestly never use it in the lower gear. That's just not my cutting style. Not sure what the design, why they went with that design, the 2 different speeds. I have to imagine it has to do maybe battery life, and we'll get into battery life soon. But it's not something that I would have said, I would have put in my clipper. But again, this is not my clipper. This is Basio's clipper, and that's the design they went with. When it comes to the actual performance and cutting, this thing chews right through hair. Fading wise, the blade works flawlessly. This FX 8022GR blade is really nice. I love the color choices that they went with. But if we were gonna say color, I think you guys should give the user a little bit more options. And I say this as more of a want, maybe in their second model. I get that you have this green, your logo is black and green, and you have all the right to. But if you could have put an RGB where I could have changed that to whatever fits my aesthetic, my personal aesthetic, that would be pretty cool. That's not a knock on it. That's just something that would be aesthetically pleasing to me, to have the choice of changing the color from, green RGB to, red or a black or a purple, not a black, but a purple or a blue, even just a white. It would have been pretty dope, but I get it. You're sticking with your branding. That's most important. That has no impact on how the clipper actually performs. Battery life has been fantastic. It lasts almost the whole day. I had gotten to a point where I used it so much that I ran the battery pretty low, And this is where I feel it's the biggest flaw of this machine. If you don't spend the extra money, and this clipper is about a $200 clipper already at this point of this video. This is a $200 clipper. You're already spending $200, and all you get is a USB cable, USB-C cable that you plug in. And you see when I plug in, it shows you, it's telling you the percentage of battery. I think that's fantastic. But if you don't pay for that module and the actual dock, flat, whatever, the docking mat with the module, which is an extra, two of those things are extra costs on top of it. If you're running low and this is your only machine, when you plug in, that no longer charges. I mean, you can no longer use this. It turns the clipper off. And I think that's a huge miss. There are gonna be people who can't afford multiple clippers on their station. And they're winding down on battery. They didn't spend the extra money to get the module and the mat to make it wireless and keep it charging and give it extra battery life. If I plug in, I can't use this machine. I have to unplug it in order to run the machine, because the moment I plug it in, it's useless. It's just a brick until I decide to unplug it. And that to me is a huge flaw when it comes to this machine. Should it stop you from buying the machine? No, the machine's perfectly works amazing. The battery life has been good. But again, if I have to now spend extra money on a module, now the price to this machine is not sub $200. Now the price to this machine, you're getting almost in the $300, because you have to buy the mat, which is another 30, 45, 50 bucks. I'm not sure, where you find it, at the price. I've seen it anywhere from $35 to $45. So that's just for the mat. Then I have to buy the actual plug, which goes to it, which is another $35, $45. And to me, that's where it starts getting to a point where, I get the cost savings. You're not gonna even add an actual brick to it to plug in if you don't have that. I mean, we all have access to it, but it's just like, I get the penny pinching almost, and who has to make what money and what profit, which is great. And I'm never gonna doubt anybody, but I'm talking about for a user experience. That's a hard pill to swallow. To now I have to cough up almost another $100 to get the full benefit. But it does not change the fact that once I have this plugged in, I cannot use it. So if I'm in the middle of a haircut and I have a long USB-C cable and I'm just trying to finish that haircut, I cannot plug it in. So that means I have to stop using this machine altogether, which means I have to invest in a whole nother machine. And to me, that just, for that price, it just doesn't sit well. And that's the biggest flaw to me. And some people are just gonna be tight on the budget and they might not be able to afford it. And this is not gonna be for everybody. But for those who can afford it, for those who could put the money away to get it, is it worth buying? Yeah, it's worth buying. Even though I don't want to spend $200 on a clipper, this has made me more money since I bought it than just spending the $200. I've gotten my money back tenfold already at this point. This machine is really good for fading. And I'm talking about all types of hair. But that leads me into their guard system, which are these guys right here. They do include guards. I get it. I get why they went with this style, and to me, this is pretty solid guard system, but it's not perfect. It doesn't work with every hair texture. Again, we go back to, it's a lot like the Andy Masters, and this is an off-brand, okay? This is an off-brand for the Andy Masters. They also make a Wahl version that looks just like this, okay? This plastic is a little bit more durable than this plastic. This is a hard plastic. This is a softer plastic. As you see, I can easily bend. This bends the same, but it's a little bit more pressure to bend it. So it just kind of stays there longer. I've seen where I've gone through hair and this kind of bends that way. It opens up a little bit. So you don't always get the cleanness with some of these clipper guards. And when we're talking about clipper guards, let's just see. I'll compare to this. This is my Instinct from Stylecraft, but I put the Master Blade on it. When I put this guard on it, attachment, you hear anything? Do you hear a rattle or anything? No. Now this system belongs with this clipper and this blade. This shouldn't be. You hear that? It's not a good fit. That to me is not acceptable. I have to hold it, which I should. You should always hold your guard, but it shouldn't be that I have to do this in order to not hear the rattle. That is not acceptable. They have to do a better job of getting this not to sound like that. Now, I would have to bend this, but we're talking about people who might not know these things. I've been in the field long enough to know that if I have that issue, I can bend this a little bit more so it gives it a tighter fit. And now it doesn't. But look what happens. I would have to do that to every single one, because look at this. Every single one I pick up and put in does the same thing. We got to do a little bit better R&D wise, because there are going to be people who do not understand that they have to bend that a little bit more to get a snugger fit, to get that sound going away. Again, these are things that could be worked out. These are things that shouldn't stop you necessarily, but they are things that I found while using this for a little over a month, 2 months at this point. Overall, this is a fantastic machine. Blade cuts like butter, super good for fading, but it's not a one size fits all. You have to understand what this is good for your cutting style. Guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for tuning in. As always, like, share, subscribe. Bazio, Babyliss, I think you guys actually did a lot of amazing things, and I'm looking forward to version 2 to see what happens. And yeah, till the next video, I'll see you around. Peace.